What's up, guys? Chef Dave here with another video. So today we're gonna talk tomatillo. I love tomatillos. I think they're super underrated. I think they have a ton more uses than a lot of people give them credit for. And what I like to do with them is I like to make several different sauces, but we're going to talk about one, and which is almost kind of sort of like a mole verde. I won't claim any kind of authenticity to it or anything like that. Obviously, this is just something I came up with, especially since I have a ton of tomatillos on my garden. I had no idea. I thought it'd be fun to grow them, and it has been a blast, but I had no idea that they would be so prolific. The variety I grew is the small variety, which I actually prefer. I think it has a little bit more punch, a bit more flavor. As you can see, they have like a husk on them. When they grow, they're like this, and then you just have to peel back this husk. It does get a little sticky. I know there's some tricks to, I've heard putting them in water, things like that. To me, if you just peel them, wash your hands after, that's all you have to do. This is something I make often. I do make it in batches when I have enough tomatillos. This is a kind of a cooked version, and it tends to be, I don't want to say more versatile, but you can use it on top of sandwiches and in salsas and, with chips and things like that, as well as you can finish soups with it, like a chicken soup with a nice couple spoonfuls of this is just fantastic. You can even braise meat in it. I've done that. I've done chicken legs, seared, braised in this mole verde. It comes out delicious. So it is quite versatile, but let's get down to it. There's quite a few ingredients to this, but it is still quite simple at the same time. So let's do it. We're going to start off with a very hot pan. And we're going to use a little oil. You don't need a ton, just a little bit, just enough to coat the bottom of the pan. Oil is nice and hot. You're going to add your tomatillos. Now be careful, all right? It's going to splash. As you can see, after letting the tomatillos sit in the pan for probably about 2 to 3 minutes just to get a little caramelization on the one side, we toss them around, let them reorganize themselves in a single layer again, and then we allow them to sit again for another 3 to 4 minutes to get more color on the other side. Beautiful. Now we've got some nice color on there. We don't want too much color. We don't want to create too much brown. We're going to add our onions, garlic, jalapenos, and serranos. Once the jalapenos, onions, garlic, serranos get a little bit of sweat on them, we just give them a little stir by hand, just to keep that sweat going. We're not looking for color here, we're just looking to render and sweat the new vegetables out a little bit. Now we're going to add salt, sugar, cumin, coriander, walnuts. Now with the addition of the nuts, sugar, salt, spices, you just want to stir this around really well. The sugars and salts will start to meld with the vegetables and kind of start to create a fond on the bottom. You just want to keep giving this a nice stir until everything's really well incorporated in there. Once this is nice and roasted and cooked down, I'm going to put the tiniest bit of water in here. Okay, we're going to let this reduce down just to make sure everything's nice and tender and that the nuts are saturated. Okay, perfect. That's it. Just like that. Nice and saturated. Everything's pretty tender. It doesn't have to be mush, you know, just tender. Turn it off. Fantastic. We have our ice bath set up again. I washed the greens that I need. Start to fill this up. It looks about half. Now, if we need a little water to it, we can add water to it. So our goal is to keep it as green as possible when we add all these greens. In this case, we've got some cabbage greens, some Napa cabbage greens, and obviously fresh cilantro. What we're gonna do is puree this first, get it nice and smooth, see if we need to adjust any liquid, and then we're gonna add our greens to it. All right, beautiful. Now, we're gonna add our greens. And for our greens, you can see, it's our Napa cabbage. These are red cabbage leaves from the trimmings. This is all grown on my rooftop, minus the cilantro. Cilantro is not grown on the rooftop. Cilantro you just wash, and then I do stems and all for the cilantro. A little excess water. A little water's fine, because I think it's gonna need a little water. You don't want to put too much water. And we're gonna puree. That's it. Right into the ice bath. Get it out. Now we're not looking for like this crazy bright green here, because you have a brown base essentially, right? So unless you put a exorbitant amount of parsley and cilantro and everything else in there, that's the only way to really make this super green. Once it's all pureed nicely, you're just gonna drop the rest of it right into that ice bath. So there it is. Again, not like the brightest green, but definitely green. But you know, if you cook with this, it turns brown. It's really just the flavor of the tomatillo, the nuts, the sesame, and then the greens that bring almost a little bit of bitterness to it, which is really nice, complementing, especially when you put the little couple tablespoons of sugar into it. Really helps out. But once it cools, you do the same. Check for seasoning, and that's it. There you have it, guys. So this is one of my favorite ways to use tomatillos. I have a plethora of them, so I've had to get creative on using them. But this is a fun way to, produce something that you can have in your fridge or in your freezer, because it freezes really well. And, you can use it in a lot of different ways. Like, I would literally dip chips right into this, side of salsa, boom, boom. Maybe some queso, whatever you like with your chips. It's a great dip. Cooking with it, braised chicken, legs or thighs or whatever, awesome. I've never used it as a marinade, but I'm sure you can. I don't know how that would come out, but you can also use it whipped in with like a mayo for like a chicken salad or an egg salad. Egg salad would be delicious. So there's just a lot of ways you can use this as opposed to like a fresh tomatillo salsa, which is also delicious, but this has a little bit more versatility. I really love it in soups, like chicken soup or like a pork neck stew or something like that. It just adds this bright freshness to it that's just amazing. Add it a la minute as you're eating it, just like a condiment. It's fantastic. I'll have the recipe for this in the description, and Get out there, try something new, try something different. I guarantee you will not be sorry, especially with this. If you like this content, make sure you comment, like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Thanks.